Hey guys, welcome back to The Art of Craftsmanship. My name is Dustin, and today in the shop, I'm going to show you how to make a really easy forged bottle opener. Now, I just recently made a couple of these bottle openers for my father-in-law and my uncle-in-law for Christmas, and it was just a fun little project, and I thought it'd be a really cool thing to try again and show you guys how to make one. So the great thing about bottle openers is that they're just really easy projects to do. Great for a beginner blacksmith like myself. We're going to be doing some scroll work. We're going to be doing a little bit of rounding, just some hammer control, and then some twisting as well. So kind of fun things to learn and just kind of practice on as a beginner blacksmith. Before I light up the forge, I need to cut a piece of round bar. Now this is 3/4 inch round bar. I got to cut a piece off. I'm going to use this as a tool, a rounding tool, rounding pole that I'll be able to actually use in my hardy hole to round over the end of the handle so I can hang it on a hook. So we'll go ahead and cut this off and get started. Now this doesn't have to be a specific height. I just need it to be high enough that I can round around. I'll be rounding it down closer to the hardy hole because it's going to move around a little bit in here. So I'm just going to go up about 6 or 7 inches and make a mark so I know where to cut. So you could see it was really not throwing any sparks at all when I was grinding it. So I'm not sure what it is. It's worked, like I said, really well for a few different projects. But if anybody has any idea of what type of steel this might be, so it doesn't rust, doesn't throw sparks like high carbon, and I don't know. It's got a kind of a odd kind of brown, cool brown patina on it. So if anybody has any ideas, maybe drop it in the comments. So let's go ahead and light up the forge and we'll get started. The material I'll be using today is 1/8 inch by 3/4 inch mild bar stock. This is just mild steel, really cheap, but it'll work perfectly fine for making this bottle opener. And the first step of the process will be heating this up and starting to draw out a long, thin tang that I can make the handle out of. So I'm going to start by just hammering on both sides at an angle. Kind of tipping it up a little bit, just trying to get an even point. I do not have the best tongs, but they'll work for what I needed to do. So a little trick you can do if you're trying to figure out how much material you need to draw out to make a loop, and you kind of know the general size of the loop you want to make. Like I know I want my loop to be about this big. So you can go ahead and just take a piece of string, I have this piece of leather, and I'll just make the loop I want, and then you can measure it out. So I have my ruler here. That's just over 5 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a mark at 6 inches. Then I know I'll add about an inch or so on to make my little scroll work at the end. I've got the handle out to the length I want it now, so I'm just gonna pull this out. I'm gonna refine the taper to get it nice and clean all the way down. And then I'm gonna draw at the very end of it to like a nice long skinny taper. That way I can do my scroll work in the end. I'm going to do my scroll on the very end of the handle now. I'm going to hang the edge of the point over the edge of the anvil, start to round it, and then I'll flip it back and round it back onto itself. So now I'm going to use my rounding bar and I'm going to go ahead and round the handle over. Now you want to make sure that you round the handle the opposite direction of your scroll work, because you want it to come down and then spin to the outside. I'm just dipping the scroll end in the water because I want to make sure I don't want that to, slip a hit and it kind of disforms a little bit. I got to back this up just a smidge because I'm getting around too close too soon. So back it up, see if I can get this to come around where I want it. There we go, that's a little bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and take one more heat just to do my final refinement on this, make sure my loop is nice and even. And I also wanna bring the end of this in just a little bit more so it curls in and bring that final scroll right into the end. I want to make sure that my scroll is right in the middle of my handle, which it is there. And then I'll just make sure the handle is straight. So I'm going to go about 5 inches now, 5.5 or so inches. I'm going to hot cut it off. That way it'll leave me enough to do the hole for my bottle opener, and then about 3.5 or so inches to do my twist. Anytime you're hot cutting, always set it on there, give it a hit, check it, make sure you're back in the same spot. I can feel the spot now. And I'll flip it over. Whoop, if I don't drop it with these tongs. A little bit over, go on the other side. Make sure I'm in the same spot again. And I should be able to bend it and break it off with my other pair of pliers. So I was able to just bend it, grab my other pliers once I had it nice and thin, bend it back and forth and snap it off. So we'll go ahead and flatten this out just a little bit, and then I'll quench it and we'll drill the hole for the bottle opener. I'm going to drill a 3/8 inch hole straight down the middle, and I'm going to do that about 4.5 inches out from the start of my loop in my handle. So to cut out your bottle opener, you want to cut a 45-degree angle from the bottom of your hole, and then a 90-degree angle from the very side. And I'll use my angle grinder to cut both of those. So I finished up the bottle opener on the top. Should be really good. I'm going to test it at the end of the build, obviously. And if it doesn't work then I'll do a little bit of touch up on it, but I think it should be good. But I'm going to get back into the forge, heat up the middle so that way we can do our twist on the handle. That looks pretty straight. Let's check it out. It's not the prettiest twist ever. But it's okay. It's one of those learning processes. So I'm just using this last heat just to straighten it up a little bit, just because the twist made the end of the hook just a little bit off center. Looks pretty good. Make sure it's straight up and down this way. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So I'll go ahead and use my wire brush, just clean it up a little bit, make sure the forge scale's off of it. Again, that's kind of a funky twist, but that's okay. That's the third twist I've ever done, so actually no, that's only the second twist I've ever done. So, you know, live and learn. I just maybe next time I'll grip a little bit higher and try to make sure that I have an even taper, get that twist a little bit better. But I kind of like that it's a little funky. It's kind of cool. I'm gonna head upstairs and grab a beer and we'll bring it down, try the new bottle opener out. So this first beer, this one will be for me, perfectly, and this one will be for my brother behind the camera. Cheers. Cheers. We're going to continue giving some of these small projects away, and today it's going to go to one of our supporters on Patreon. So I have all of our Patreon supporters' names in the basket here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw one now. And that person is Abby Girl TV. So thank you so much, Abby Girl TV. Your support really makes a huge, huge difference to the channel. And those of you who are interested in supporting the channel in other ways, go over and check us out on Patreon, and you could be up for some more runnings and drawings and giveaways like this in the future. All right, guys, well, thank you so much. Today was just a super fun little project. I really love making this type of stuff. I'm really getting into blacksmithing, and just this is a great beginner project, and it's also something that anyone can do and anyone can practice. Just a really fun project, you know, kind of test your skills on doing scroll work and rounding and twists, and just, you know, long tapers, all sorts of fun stuff. And it's just a really easy thing and a great small gift. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. And check us out on Instagram at The Art of Craftsmanship. Thank you guys again, and we'll see you in the next video.